नगरपालिकाका प्रमुख उपप्रमुख तथा विशिष्ट पदाधिकारी
अनिर गरिसकेको
अनिर भयो अरे
तमसोमा ज्योतिर्गमयको आस्थालाई मनमा राखेर दियो बालेर कार्यक्रमको समुद्घाटन हो। त्यसैले कार्यक्रमको समुद्घाटन गरिदिनु हुनका लागि म यस आयोजक संस्था द प्रमिस ल्यान्ड फाउन्डेसनका अध्यक्ष श्री निकेश अधिकारी र हाम्रो यो कार्यक्रममा सुरुवातदेखि नै बलियो खम्बा जसरी हाम्रो साझेदार रहनुभएकी आदरणीय लुम्बिनी सांस्कृतिक नगरपालिकाकी कार्यवाहक मेयर कमला हरिजन म्यामलाई दियो बालेर कार्यक्रमको समुद्घाटन गरिदिनु हुन हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्दछु। Can we all stand in respect to the light? Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. May this Diyo pave our way to unity, compassion, and global harmony. हार्डमा भएको जिब्रो हो, लरबरिए छ। म्याम सरी, हजुरको नामै मिस्टेक गरेँ। आइएम एक्सट्रिमली सरी। र अब कार्यक्रमको विधिवत रूपमा सुरुवात गरिहाल्यौँ। सुरुमा स्वागत मन्तव्यको लागि मैले अब चाहिँ नाम सही उच्चारण गर्छु। आदरणीय कल्पना हरिजन म्याम लुम्बिनी सांस्कृतिक नगरपालिकाकी मेयरलाई आफ्नो छोटो मन्तव्य राखिदिनु हुनका लागि स्टेजमा निम्त्याउन चाहे। प्लिज म्याम।
साधुवाद। नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स तथागत सम्यक सम्बुद्धलाई वन्दना। नमो बुद्धाय, नमो धम्माय, नमो संघाय। सर्वप्रथम प्रमिस ल्यान्ड फाउन्डेसनद्वारा आयोजित विश्व शान्तिका लागि तेस्रो संस्करण कार्यक्रममा पाल्नुहुने श्रद्धेय भिक्षुगण अनि गुरुमा लगायत यस कार्यक्रमका आयोजक प्रमिस ल्यान्ड फाउन्डेसनका अध्यक्ष निकेश अधिकारीज्यू, विशिष्ट रोमा बसी प्रमुख आतिथ्यको रूपमा रहनुभएका विभिन्न देशबाट पाल्नुहुने आदरणीय राष्ट्र प्रमुखज्यूहरू, यस मञ्चमा आसीन यस लुम्बिनी विकास कोष विश्वविद्यालय, यस क्षेत्रमा केन्द्रदेखि प्रदेश स्थानीय तहका विभिन्न सङ्घ संस्था र नगरपालिकाबाट प्रतिनिधित्व गरेर पाल्नुहुने प्रमुख प्रशासकीय अधिकृतज्यू लगायत सम्पूर्ण कर्मचारी साथीहरू र विभिन्न सङ्घ संस्थाबाट पाल्नुहुने सम्पूर्ण दिदीबहिनीहरू र विभिन्न विद्यालयहरूबाट पाल्नुहुने विद्यालयका प्रधानाध्यापकज्यू, शिक्षक, शिक्षिका, विद्यार्थी भाइ बहिनीहरू, सुरक्षाकर्मी एवं पत्रकार साथीहरू र भोलिन्टियरमा खट्नुहुने सम्पूर्ण भोलिन्टियर साथीहरू, सम्पूर्णमा विश्व शान्तिका अग्रदूत गौतम बुद्धको जन्मस्थल लुम्बिनीबाट, लुम्बिनी सांस्कृतिक नगरपालिकाको तर्फदेखि, मेरो व्यक्तिगत तर्फदेखि सम्पूर्णमा साधुवाद नमो बुद्धाय टक्राउन चाहन्छु। र यो खुसीको कुरा हो, आज हामी विश्वमा रहेका विभिन्न नगरपालिका गाउँपालिकाहरू छन्, विश्वमा नगरपालिकाहरू धेरै छन्, तर बुद्धको जन्मस्थल रहेको नगरपालिका एउटा मात्रै छ। हामीलाई गर्व छ, हामी लुम्बिनी सांस्कृतिक नगरपालिकामा छौँ र यो पवित्र शान्तिको क्षेत्रबाट मैले सम्पूर्ण महानुभावहरूलाई स्वागत गर्न चाहन्छु र यो विश्व शान्तिका लागि, समृद्धिका लागि तेस्रो संस्करण कार्यक्रममा आदरणीय आयोजक टिमलाई मैले साधुवाद दिन चाहन्छु। उहाँहरूले जुन उद्देश्यका साथ शान्तिका अग्रदूत गौतम बुद्ध जन्मिएको ठाउँबाट नै हामीले शान्ति फैलाउनु पर्छ भनेर जुन आज यो कार्यक्रम आयोजना गर्नुभयो, त्यसको साथसाथ हामी कहाँ लुम्बिनी छ, अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय लेभलमा आफ्नो छवि छोडेर शान्तिका सन्देशसँग गौतम बुद्धको यो पवित्र जन्मस्थलबाट यहाँका भाषा, संस्कार, संस्कृति, कला सहितको हामीसँग पहिचान छ र यस क्षेत्रमा रहनुहुने स्थानीय वासीहरूसँग विभिन्न किसिमका आफ्नै वेशभूषा र कला संस्कृति छ, त्यो चाहिँ अन्त पाइँदैन। हामीले गर्व गर्नुपर्छ, नगरपालिका त धेरै छन् विश्वमा, तर लुम्बिनी र बुद्धको जन्मस्थल एउटा मात्रै छ र जसमा पनि हामीले तीनवटा बुद्ध, हाम्रो नेपालमा जन्मिएको कक्रुछन्द, कनक मुनि बुद्ध र शाक्य मुनि बुद्ध गरेर हामी 4 बुद्ध मध्ये 3 बुद्ध हाम्रो नेपालमै जन्मनु भएको हुँदा पनि हामीले विश्वमा अलग पहिचान राख्न सक्ने लुम्बिनीवासी हौँ भनेर हामीले गर्व गर्ने ठाउँ हाम्रो एकमात्र रहेको छ लुम्बिनी सांस्कृतिक नगरपालिका। र आज यसरी विश्वका विभिन्न राष्ट्र प्रमुखहरू लुम्बिनीमा आउँदै गर्दा हामीले उहाँहरूलाई दिने सन्देश भनेको हाम्रो शान्त, सभ्य, सहनशीलताको परिचय नै प्रमुख उपहार हो जस्तो लाग्छ र हामीले उहाँहरूलाई यो स्वागत गर्दै गर्दा हामी लुम्बिनीमा भए तापनि हामीसँग प्रशस्त अथाह सम्पत्ति र त्यो सँगसँगै यहाँहरूले देख्नु भएको छ, विश्वले देखिरहेको लुम्बिनीमा हामीसँग अथाह जमिनदेखि सम्पूर्ण कुराहरू छन् र त्यसमा हामीले हातेमालो गरेर अगाडि बढ्नका लागि यहाँहरूसँग के गर्न सक्छौँ त? लुम्बिनीलाई चिनाउनका लागि, बुद्ध दर्शनलाई प्रत्येक राष्ट्रमा फैलाउनका लागि र प्रत्येक जनजनको मनमा बुद्धको शान्ति सन्देश दिनका लागि हामी के गर्न सक्छौँ भन्ने कुरामा हातेमालो गरेर अगाडि बढ्नका लागि हामी सदैव तत्पर रहेको कुरा पनि मैले यहाँहरूमा जानकारी गराउन चाहन्छु। र हामीसँग रहेको यस क्षेत्रमा विभिन्न किसिमका हामीसँग 10 वटा सामुदायिक माध्यमिक विद्यालयहरू छन्। हामीले लुम्बिनी बौद्ध विश्वविद्यालय, एकमात्र बौद्ध विश्वविद्यालय रहेको लुम्बिनीमा बौद्ध शिक्षा लगायतका विभिन्न शिक्षाहरू पठन पाठन गराउँदै गर्दा लुम्बिनीका सम्पूर्ण सामुदायिक विद्यालयहरूमा पनि बौद्ध शिक्षालाई माध्यमिक शिक्षासम्म अनिवार्य गर्नका लागि कसरी अगाडि बढ्न सक्छौँ, त्यसैगरी कृषिका क्षेत्रमा बौद्धकालीन उत्पादनमा आधारित हामीसँग काला नमक चामल पनि छन्, जो बौद्ध कालमा शाक्य मुनि बुद्धदेखि लिएर विभिन्न व्यक्तित्वहरूले प्रयोगमा ल्याउने काला नमक चामललाई हामीले कसरी ब्रान्डिङ गरेर लैजान सक्छौँ, कृषिलाई बजारीकरण गर्दै कोल्ड स्टोरको रूपमा स्थापित गरेर यस लुम्बिनी क्षेत्रलाई कसरी अगाडि बढाउन सक्छौँ र त्यो सँगसँगै हामीले अन्य क्षेत्रमा कसरी विकास गर्न सक्छौँ, त्यसमा यहाँहरूको लगानी, हाम्रो सहकार्य र समन्वयमा कसरी अगाडि बढ्न सक्छौँ, हामी तत्परै छौँ। यहाँहरू आउनुहोस्। हामीले सरकारका प्रक्रियाहरू पुरा गर्दै यहाँहरूलाई यस क्षेत्रको विकासमा, यस क्षेत्रको समृद्धिका लागि, सम्पूर्ण नगरवासीको समृद्धिका लागि, विकासका लागि अगाडि बढ्नका लागि हाम्रो लुम्बिनी सांस्कृतिक नगरपालिका परिवार र स्थानीयवासीहरू यहाँहरूमाझ सदैव सहकार्य समन्वय गरेर अगाडि बढ्नका लागि तयार छ भन्ने कुरा राख्दै पुनः यस कार्यक्रममा पाल्नुहुने सम्पूर्ण राष्ट्र प्रमुख अतिथि, विशिष्ट अतिथिहरू र यस सभामा पाल्नुहुने सम्पूर्ण महानुभावहरूलाई सम्पूर्णमा लुम्बिनी सांस्कृतिक नगरपालिका विश्व शान्तिका लागि तेस्रो संस्करण कार्यक्रममा यहाँहरूलाई स्वागत गर्दै यहाँहरूलाई बुद्धत्वको शान्ति सन्देश, करुणा र एक आपसमा मैत्रीपूर्ण सद्भाव सदैव कायम रहोस् भन्ने कामना सहित यहाँहरूको करुणा मैत्रीको लागि कामना गर्दै मेरो बाणीलाई विराम दिन चाहन्छु। भवतु सब मङ्गलम सहित शुभकामना पनि र स्वागत पनि गर्न चाहन्छु। धन्यवाद, नमस्कार।
धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद म्याम। यहाँहरूलाई कार्यक्रम सुरु हुँदै गर्दा लागिरहेको हुनसक्छ किन आसन ग्रहण भएन, किन कोही विशिष्ट अतिथि हुनुहुन्न भनेर। आज यहाँ पाल्नुभएका सबैजना हाम्रा अतिथि हुनुहुन्छ र सँगसँगै अतिथि हुनुहुन्न पनि। हामीहरू सबैजना यहाँ सहभागी नै हौँ, सबैजना पार्टिसिपेन्ट नै हौँ। एज मच एज वी आर गेस्ट हियर, वी आर पार्टिसिपेन्ट्स हियर बिकज अल वी वान्ट इज वर्ल्ड पिस, हो नि होइन? मलाई यहाँ एउटा छोटो जानकारी आएको छ। हामीसँग रेड क्रस सोसाइटीको प्रतिनिधि पनि हुनुहुन्छ। अगाडि ब्लड डोनेसन भइरहेको छ। मैले व्यक्तिगत तर्फबाट पनि र आयोजकको तर्फबाट पनि विनम्र अनुरोध गर्न चाहे, स्वास्थ्यले साथ दिने जति सबैले कृपया ब्लड डोनेट गरिदिनु होला। र यहाँ हुनुभएका मध्ये कसैले चाहिँ म चाहिँ पहिलो डोनेट गर्ने मान्छे हुन चाहन्छु, म चाहिँ मेरो अनाउन्समेन्ट गरिहाल्छु भन्ने हुनुहुन्छ भने हाम्रो फर्स्ट डोनर अनाउन्समेन्ट हुनेछ र रेड क्रस सोसाइटीबाट उहाँको लागि प्याकेजको व्यवस्था पनि छ। कोही हुनुहुन्छ? रक्तदान, जीवनदान, हात उठाइदिनु न प्लिज, आउनु न, अगाडि आउनुहुन्छ। हाम्रो रेड क्रसको प्रतिनिधि, हेलो, हाम्रो रेड क्रसको प्रतिनिधि कता हुनुहुन्छ सर? आदरणीय टेक बहादुर थापा सर, प्लिज अगाडि नै आउनुहुन्छ। हाम्रो फर्स्ट डोनरले हात उठाउनु भएको छ। कृपया समयमै गएर ब्लड डोनेट गरिदिनु होला र उहाँले मात्रै होइन, अरूले पनि प्लिज ब्लड डोनेट गरिदिनु होला ल। एन्ड नाउ द टर्न फर कीनोट स्पिचेस। आज हामीसँग विभिन्न देश, विभिन्न क्षेत्रका आफ्नो आफ्नो पृष्ठभूमिका अथाह अनुभव बोक्नुभएका प्रतिष्ठित व्यक्तिहरू हुनुहुन्छ र उहाँहरूमध्ये 5 जनालाई आज हामी सुन्नेछौँ। म आफै पनि एकदमै धेरै उत्साहित छु यहाँ जसको नाम देखिरहेकी छु। सबैभन्दा सुरुमा हामी कहाँ हुनुहुन्छ राजकीय बौद्ध विहारका श्रद्धेय भन्ते सागर भन्ते सर। यो माहौल लुम्बिनीको माहौल नै ध्यानको, मेडिटेसनको माहौल हो। यो कार्यक्रममा सुन्नका लागि भन्ते जति सही व्यक्ति अरू को हुन सक्नुहुन्छ होला। त्यसैले मैले प्लिज स्टेजमा स्वागत गर्न चाहे श्रद्धेय भन्ते सागर भन्तेलाई। गुरु, भलुन्टियर साथीहरूले सहयोग गरिदिनुहुन्छ। सागर भन्ते गुरु प्राविधिक समस्या भयो जस्तो छ, माफी चाहेला एकैछिन। भन्ते आइहाल्नुभन्दा अगाडि कसको फोन भेटिएको रहेछ, कृपया कसैको फोन हराएको छ भने स्टेजतिर सम्पर्क गर्नुहोला ल।
नमो तस्स अरहतु सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स। प्रोमिस ल्यान्ड संस्थाको तेस्रो संस्करण विश्व शान्ति सम्मेलन कार्यक्रम लुम्बिनीमा आयोजना भएको छ र यो कार्यक्रम मा पाल्नुभएका सम्पूर्ण सबैलाई म यो कार्यक्रमको मुख्य सारांश के हो त्यसमा म विशेष केन्द्रित हुन चाहन्छु। लुम्बिनी भित्रको लुम्बिनी, लुम्बिनी बाहिरको लुम्बिनी, यी दुईटा लुम्बिनीको बीचको एउटा ग्याप छ। लुम्बिनी भित्र लुम्बिनी विकास कोष, लुम्बिनी मास्टर प्लान को एरिया छ र त्यसको बाहिर बस्ने विपन्न लुम्बिनीवासीहरू, आर्थिक रूपमा विपन्न हैन, र यो लुम्बिनी भित्रको लुम्बिनीको विकास गर्ने म्यान्डेट लुम्बिनी विकास कोषलाई छ। अब लुम्बिनी हामी सधैँभरि लुम्बिनी भित्रको लुम्बिनी मात्रै हेरेर, भित्रको लुम्बिनी हामी आध्यात्मिक पक्षहरू, बुद्धका बानीहरू, त्यहाँभित्र पूजापाठ गर्ने, प्रवचन गर्ने इत्यादि त्यो माहौल हामी कायम गरेर अगाडि बढिरहेका छौँ। त्यसमा हाम्रो कुनै पनि उ छैन। तर अब लुम्बिनीलाई एउटा विश्वव्यापी रूपमा चिनाउँदै बाहिरका जनमान एउटा आर्थिक उन्नति का लागि त्यो लुम्बिनीको जुन एउटा लिगेसीसँग गाँसिकन त्यसलाई हामीले इन्क्यास गर्ने क्रिएटिभ कुराहरू, आर्थिक सम्भावना बोकेका विभिन्न कुराहरू लुम्बिनीमा चाहिँ गर्न अब हामी ढिला गर्छौँ कि ढिला गरिरहेका छौँ कि छैनौँ। किनभने लुम्बिनी विकास कोष भनेको उसको एउटा छुट्टै म्यान्डेट छ र यो जुन लुम्बिनीको जुन लिगेसीसँग ट्याप गरेर भगवान बुद्धको जन्मस्थल लुम्बिनीसँग लिङ्क गरेर जनमानसहरूको सोसियो इकोनोमिक लेभललाई कसरी अपलिफ्ट गर्ने, त त्यो क्षेत्रमा लगानी गर्नका लागि विश्वका धनाढ्य बौद्धहरू उहाँहरू उत्सुक हुनुहुन्छ। भगवान बुद्ध जन्मेको ठाउँमा हामी कुनै पनि सम्भाव्य क्षेत्रमा हामी लगानी गर्न तयार छौँ भनेर उहाँहरूले भनिरहनु भएको छ। त्यसै कारण त्यो जुन विभिन्न देशमा रहेका बौद्ध जति पनि लगानी गर्न चाहने ती महानुभावहरूलाई लुम्बिनीको विकासमा ल्याउन एउटा इन्टरमिडिएट भूमिकाको आवश्यकता धेरै वर्षदेखि नै थियो र अहिले त्यो भूमिका यो प्रोमिस ल्यान्ड भन्ने संस्थाले त्यो भूमिका चाहिँ खेलिरहेको छ। उहाँहरूलाई आफ्नो मास्टर भगवान बुद्ध जन्मेको ठाउँमा हामी कुनै पनि एउटा क्रिएटिभ कुराहरूमा यहाँका जनताहरूको जीवन स्तर उकास्ने कुराहरूमा हामी लगानी गर्छौँ भनेर उहाँहरूले भनिरहनु भएको छ। त्यो चिज अब गर्ने बेला आयो। यहाँको स्थानीय निकायसँग समन्वय गरेर नियम कानुनसँग नबाजिकन हाम्रो देशको नियम कानुनलाई पालना गरेर स्थानीय निकायसँग समन्वय गरिकन त्यस्ता दात्री संस्थाहरू व्यक्तिहरूलाई लुम्बिनीको विकास गर्न अब हामी पछि पर्नु हुँदैन। हामीले सधैँभरि विकास कोष भनेर मात्रै अब हामी बस्यौँ भने लुम्बिनीको एउटा चाहिँ भविष्य अन्धकारमा हुनेछ। त्यसै कारण प्रोमिस ल्यान्डले यही कुरालाई लुम्बिनीको इतिहास यसको आध्यात्मिक महत्त्वसँग ट्याप गरेर यहाँका स्थानीयहरूको एउटा विकास गर्नका लागि कस्ता कस्ता कार्यक्रमहरू हामीले चाहिँ पहिल्याउन सक्छौँ या कुन चाहिँ चिजको एउटा सम्भाव्य छ त हैन, जसले लुम्बिनीको मर्यादालाई, जसले लुम्बिनीको इतिहासलाई, जसले लुम्बिनीको महत्त्वलाई पनि विश्वव्यापी रूपमा प्रचार प्रसार गर्ने, उतातिर यहाँका स्थानीयहरूको पनि एउटा आर्थिक सम्पन्नता हासिल गर्ने, यहाँ भएका जति पनि सम्भाव्यताहरू छन् तिनीहरूलाई चाहिँ उजागर गराउने, प्रमोट गर्ने, त्यो चिज आज यो प्रोमिस ल्यान्डको मेन एउटा एजेन्डा। यसरी चाहिँ विश्वव्यापी रूपमा हैन, ल आउनुहोस्, लुम्बिनी भनेको बुद्ध भगवान जन्मेको ठाउँ हो। यहाँ आध्यात्मिक गतिविधिहरू, आध्यात्मिक कुराहरू भइरहेको छ। साथसाथै तपाईहरू बुद्धिस्ट भएको नाताले यहाँका जनमानसहरूको विकासका लागि लुम्बिनीसँग एउटा कनेक्टेड भएर सामाजिक, आर्थिक, सांस्कृतिक अनेक सम्भावनाहरू यहाँ छन्। तपाईहरू आएर एउटा आवश्यक छनौट गरेर, निड आइडेन्टिफिकेसन गरेर कुन चाहिँ कुरा यहाँ गर्न सम्भव छ त्यसमा लगानी गर्नुहोस् भनिकन उहाँहरूलाई यहाँ इन्भाइट गरिकन यो एउटा माहौल, एउटा रौनक, एउटा उपयुक्त वातावरण तयार गर्ने यो एउटा अभ्यास, एउटा प्रयासको रूपमा योलाई मैले लगेको छु। सायद मैले आफ्नो हिसाबबाट भनेको होला हैन। त्यसै कारण लुम्बिनीमा भएका जति पनि सरोकारवालाहरू, लुम्बिनी सांस्कृतिक नगरपालिका, लुम्बिनी बौद्ध विश्वविद्यालय, लुम्बिनी विकास कोष, सबै सङ्घ संस्थाहरू र त्योभन्दा पनि महत्त्वपूर्ण यहाँका स्थानीयहरू, यहाँ रहनुभएका आध्यात्मिक धर्मगुरुहरू, जति पनि सरकारवालाहरू छन् उहाँहरूलाई यो विदेशबाट पाल्नुभएका सबै उहाँहरू लगानी गर्न सक्ने क्षमता भएकाहरू सारा सम्पूर्णलाई एउटा थलोमा ल्याएर हैन, हामी एउटा यस्तो किसिमको सम्भाव्यताको बारेमा छलफल गरौँ, केही कुरा नतिजा निकालौँ र छिटोभन्दा छिटो त्यसलाई यो ठाउँको विकासको लागि हामी अगाडि बढौँ र त्यो कार्यान्वयन गरौँ। त्यो प्रतिबद्धता हामीले जाहेर गरेर यसमा छिटोभन्दा छिटो लागौँ, यो ठाउँको विकास गरौँ भन्ने दृढ एउटा उद्देश्य राखेर यो कार्यक्रमको आयोजना गरिएको छ। र म लुम्बिनीको बौद्ध जोन धर्मगुरुको नाताले सम्पूर्ण सङ्घको तर्फबाट बौद्ध समुदायहरूको तर्फबाट म यो तेस्रो शान्ति सम्मेलन प्रोमिस ल्यान्डको यो कार्यक्रमलाई सफलताको लागि जोडदार म आफ्नो र सम्पूर्ण बौद्ध समुदायको सङ्घको तर्फबाट म हृदयदेखि नै म शुभकामना दिन चाहन्छु। यो कार्यक्रम सफल होस्, जुन उद्देश्यका साथ यो कार्यक्रम तय गरिएको छ र यो कार्यक्रम आज भव्य सभ्यताका साथ यो सुसम्पन्न होस् र जुन हामीले उद्देश्य पुरा होस्, कार्यक्रमको सफल होस्, कार्यक्रम सफल होस् र कार्यक्रममा आएका सम्पूर्ण महानुभावज्यूहरू टाढा टाढा देशबाट आउनुभएको छ। हाम्रो इथियोपियाको पहिलाको प्रधानमन्त्रीज्यू यहाँ पाल्नु भएको छ। त्यस्तै गरी विभिन्न महानुभावहरू आउनुभएको छ। हजुरहरूको उपस्थितिबाट यो कार्यक्रमले बेग्लै लेभलको एउटा चाहिँ उपलब्धि हासिल गर्नेछ भनिकन म मेरो मन्तव्य यहीँ टुङ्ग्याउन चाहन्छु। सबैलाई भवतु सब्ब मङ्गलम, सबैको कल्याण होस्, सबैको मङ्गल होस्।
धन्यवाद श्रद्धेय भन्थे। आशा छ मलाई जस्तै यहाँ उपस्थित सबैभित्र श्रद्धेय भन्तेको मन्तव्यले असाध्यै सुन्दर ऊर्जा प्रवाहित भयो होला। यो कार्यक्रम अवश्य पनि विश्व शान्तिको लागि त हो नै, तर त्यसै गरी यहाँ हामीसँग विश्वभरका लब्ध प्रतिष्ठित अरबपतिहरू हुनुहुन्छ। यो कार्यक्रम स्थानीय परिश्रम र वैदेशिक लगानीलाई जोड्ने एउटा सेतु पनि हो र त्यसका लागि नै हाम्रो सेकेन्ड स्पिकर हुनुहुन्छ। आवर सेकेन्ड स्पिकर इज मिस सुजन जू, अ लिडिङ एक्सपर्ट इन ग्लोबल क्लाइमेट फाइनेन्स एन्ड द चेयर अफ ट्रेजन कार्बन ग्रुप। नेपाल जस्तो विकासोन्मुख देशमा कार्बन क्रेडिट्सलाई कसरी मोनिटाइज गर्न सकिन्छ र कुन कुन क्षेत्रमा वैदेशिक लगानी भित्र्याउन सकिन्छ भन्ने कुरा जान्नका लागि उहाँको मन्तव्य हामीहरू सबैलाई असाध्यै धेरै फलदायी हुनेछ। कृपया सबैले ध्यान दिएर सुनिदिनु होला। सो लेट्स वेलकम अन स्टेज, जोरदार तालीले स्वागत गरौँ प्लिज मिस सुजन जू।
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies. Thank you to the organizers for the kind invitation. It is truly an honor to stand here at the World Peace Conference in Lumbini, a place of profound beginnings, journey of Shanghai Treasure Carbon with you. In 2010, when I was graduated from Durham University, I founded Shanghai Treasure Carbon. In the past 15 years, we have dedicated ourselves to this mission, developing carbon assets, facilitating carbon trading, building carbon finance, and creating digital platforms to make carbon management more transparent and efficient. Through this work in China, we have supported project owners earn billions revenues. And today, we hold over 30% market shares in China. And one of the biggest carbon assets company, these numbers only tell part of the story. What truly inspires us is taking our expertise beyond the board, especially to developing countries. Guided by the spirit of Article 6 of the Paris Agreement and by long-term partnership, I cannot think of a better place to speak about this than right here in Nepal, and especially here in Lumbini. This is where we launched one of our most meaningful projects. We distributed clean, energy-efficient cookstoves to local families here. Why does this matter? For many families, cooking used to mean collecting firewood, spending hours in smoky kitchens, and contributing to deforestation. With these energy-efficient cookstoves, they use less wood, breathe cleaner air, and protect the surrounding forests. The reduction in carbon emission is verified and turned into carbon credits, which is very high demanded by developed countries in the global carbon market. What makes this special is that the revenue from selling these carbon credits does not only stay with us. It flows back into the communities locally. It helps families save money, improve health, and live with greater dignity. It is not just about carbon, it is about people. Looking outward, what can such emission reduction projects bring to other countries? They can deliver 3 practical outcomes at the same time. First, measurable climate resource and high-quality carbon credits. Second, clear social benefits such as cleaner air, safer water, and lower household energy costs. Third, local jobs and skills through manufacturing, logistics, and monitoring. This is just the beginning. From these cookstoves, we are now exploring forestry initiatives, renewable energy, LED, and other ways to reduce emissions while improving livelihoods. We have expanded this model to places such as Solomon Islands, Timor-Leste, Laos, Mongolia, and several African nations. Everywhere we go, we aim to create shared value for the planet and for the people who call it home. To support this work, we have also built strong financial foundations, including green funds in China and Singapore, so that capital is aligned with climate action and community benefits. As we gather here in Lumbini, a place that symbolizes peace and new beginnings, it reminds me, true peace is more than the absence of war. It's about building a future where development is sustainable, growth including everyone, and the communities can thrive in harmony with nature. We at Shanghai Church Carbon are committed to this vision. We believe in partnership, in particular, in practical delivery and in transparent digital monitoring so that everyone can see results. Over the next days, my team and I would be honored to meet any of you who wish to explore a pilot or a program in your place or in your countries. Thank you, my dearest friends and partner, Mr. Nikesh and his wife, Sami Nikesh, for having me today. Continue to work together for a greener, more peaceful, and more bright world. Thank you.
Thank you so much for such meaningful insights, Susan. Thank you. अघि रेड क्रसको ब्लड डोनेसन भइरहेछ भनेर अनाउन्समेन्ट भएको थियो, फेरि एकचोटि अनाउन्समेन्ट गर्न चाहे, अगाडि ब्लड डोनेसन भइरहेछ र हामीसँग यहाँ ब्लड डोनेसनको लागि अनाउन्समेन्ट गरिसक्नु भएका मान्छेहरू हुनुहुन्छ, सहभागीहरू, उहाँहरूलाई आयोजक संस्थाको प्रतिनिधिको तर्फबाट, रेड क्रसको तर्फबाट एउटा ब्याग रहेको छ, त्यो ब्याग प्रदान गरिदिनु हुनका लागि म आयोजक संस्था प्रमिस ल्यान्ड फाउन्डेसनका अध्यक्ष निकेश अधिकारीलाई अनुरोध गर्न चाहे। हामीसँग विशिष्ट अतिथिहरू हुनुहुन्छ एक्स प्राइम मिनिस्टर अफ इथियोपिया टामराट लेन र जीवन विज्ञान प्रतिष्ठानका स्पिरिचुअल गुरु हाम्रो एलपी भानु सर, उहाँहरूको तर्फबाट रक्तदान गर्ने हाम्रा सहभागीहरूको लागि ब्याग प्रदान भइरहेको छ। कृपया जोरदार ताली बजाइदिनु होला। थाहै हुँदैन कसको जिन्दगी कहिले रगतले गर्दा फेरि फिर्ता आउँछ। असाध्यै ठुलो पुण्यको काम हो रक्तदान। Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. We'll continue with the keynote speeches. तर लुम्बिनीमा हुनु र मेडिटेसन बिना केही कार्यक्रम चलिरहनु अलिक कस्तो खल्लो खल्लो लागेको हुन सक्छ यहाँहरूलाई। त्यसैले अब एउटा मेडिटेटिभ सेसनका लागि म यहाँ एक गुरुलाई बोलाउन गइरहेकी छु। मेरो जिन्दगीको सीमित ज्ञानले भन्छ ध्यानले व्याख्या भन्दा बढी अनुभूति खोज्छ। त्यसैले म धेरै व्याख्या गर्न चाहन्न। हामी सबैले पर्खिरहेको मेडिटेटिभ सेसनका लागि म स्टेजमा आमन्त्रण गर्न चाहे द फाउन्डिङ प्रेसिडेन्ट एन्ड स्पिरिचुअल गुरु अफ जीवन विज्ञान प्रतिष्ठान आदरणीय एलपी भानु सरलाई। प्लिज सर, जोरदार तालीले स्वागत गरौँ प्लिज।
Thank you, Srijana. Namo tassa bhagavatu arhatu samma sambuddhassa. I bow down to the most enlightened and the one who is the highest among all people who achieved meditation. I bow down to the Buddha. Dignitaries, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, and especially venerable Bhantes and friends from the media. I'm so happy to welcome all of you to this wonderful event that's taking place in Lumbini. Lumbini has become a center of attraction for the whole world. The more the world gets into prosperity, there's more of competition, and in place of peace, slowly, a lot of stress, and there are conflicts that are going on, and this has made the world a very difficult place to live in. There's chaos all around. Thank you. It is estimated that about 1/3 of the total population of the world is in serious stress. And stress is not one of the many problems. Stress is the problem. Because every other disease, every other illness is a byproduct of stress. So having understood this, I once again welcome you to the wonderful Himalayan legacy, the Buddhist and the yogic traditions that have thrived here for millennia. Nepal brings not just peace, but complete wellness to the whole world. Nepal is a country that has over 10,000 years of spiritual history, and this history has left a footprint in every village, every city, every household, and every individual. And the world can substantially benefit from these footprints. How do we go about now? I'll take you into the practice of meditation that combines, that combines so many spiritual teachings together. But before that, let me tell you about 2-3 things. Number one, the whole world today, the planet Earth is seeking wellness. And Nepal is destined to be a wellness country. Nepal has the richest potentials in terms of wellness. You have seen the Buddhist traditional practices, but this is just one of the many Buddhist traditional practices that are here. There are dozens of such practices. There are dozens of healing methodologies. There are dozens of prayers. And not just, these things here. All over Nepal, there are the repository of ancient knowledge that combine Ayurveda, naturopathy, meditation, yoga, samadhi, and whatnot. The whole world needs Nepal. I'm so happy to tell you that last year on December 21, 2024, United Nations announced World Meditation Day. That's exactly on December 21. And Nepal was one of the 6 major proposers of the event. And this year there is going to be a major program in United Nations on the World Meditation Day. The event will be attended by diplomats and leaders from all over the world. And we will be showcasing Nepal and Jivan Vigyan in the United Nations Conference. This is a great achievement for all of us, and not just Jivan Vigyan, not just one tradition. This combines the whole heritage, the spiritual heritage that Nepal has for thousands of years now. Friends, I know that you have been sitting here for so long. I'll make you stand up in some time. Especially I'm looking at His Excellency, former PM of Ethiopia, Tamer Lane. But before that, let me tell you what meditation is from my perspective. Meditation is finding your own energy field. There's a field of energy within everyone that is so vibrant, that is so live, and once you touch that energy field, it is so peaceful and at the same time so energetic. That is why all the meditation methods that we use in Jivan Vigyan, the organization that I represent, which translates into the science of living, we call them energy meditation, Urja Dhyan in Nepali. Because when you go into your own being, when you touch your inner core, when you touch your anatta, when you touch your no self or your inner self, you unleash tremendous energy that radiates all over the world. So meditation is not only about peace. Meditation is also about energy. And that is why peace for a prosperous future. You need peace and you need energy for a prosperous future. Energy in every individual, the power of every individual that is there can create a prosperous future. And this energy meditation that I am talking about, today, Jivan Vigyan is spread out to over 100 countries, and over 5 million practice this meditation method daily. There's a very scientific method that combines pranayama and meditation together. The one that I'm going to get you into practice now. when you practice this meditation method, it's not only about sitting or standing. You can practice this any posture. But most importantly, once you start feeling the energy within, your own energy within, what you will find is peace is a byproduct, love is a byproduct, and prosperity is a byproduct of the inner energy. Now, without much ado, should I invite all of you to please stand up with me? Everyone. I'll take you into a method known as the self-awakening method that we call Swa-Jagaran Vidhi in Nepali. This self-awakening meditation method. There are just 3 steps. The first one is Namaskar Pranayam. I'll give you a demo of how you do it. Can you put your legs about a feet apart? Yeah, have some space for you around you. Have some space for you. Have some space. Ali phailiau ta, ali phailiau, ali phailiau, ali phailiau. Have some space. Okay, now gently bring your palms to your heart center. Wow. I bow down to you. This is Namaskar. I bow down to you. But this is also a pranayam. This is also a breathing technique. Now, what we do is, while inhalation, we raise our arms, just like a butterfly flapping its wings, completely raise our arms like this. The 2 fingers, the index finger and the middle finger together, both the hands, the fingertips together, and on exhalation, there's a forceful exhalation, will close our mouth completely because it is a nasal breathing method. Okay? That completely awakens your energy. The nasal breathing method. And then what we do is, on exhalation, we flap our hands so that there's pressure in our lungs. And we release carbon dioxide outside. Okay? And then when we press our hands here, we also slightly bend our knees. Okay? Now, can you please play the meditation? This is Swa-Jagaran meditation. This is the self-awakening meditation. We'll go into Namaskar Pranayam first. This is Namaskar Pranayam. Then I'll take you to other one. Yeah. Let's start. Please follow the rhythm of the music. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Keep your eyes closed. Aakha band rakho. Please keep your eyes closed. Please keep your eyes closed. And exhale completely. Pure phalnos, full exhalation. Maniratna sir, with your knees bent. Moda ghumdair. Please close your eyes and enjoy this pranayam. All of you. Full energy. Wow, full energy. Do it smilingly, do it joyfully. Meditation is a celebration. Meditation is playing around with the space that is around you. Meditation is wonderful. And pranayam gets you into meditation. The breathing techniques. Eyes closed, mouth closed, and full energy. Srijana, you are doing wonderful. Please exhale completely, you will feel so light after this exercise. You will feel so light. You will feel so happy, and you will be filled with love and compassion. Just 1 minute more. That's all. 1 minute more. Go on, go on. See, you are awakening your own energy. We are not praying to anyone. We are just praying to ourselves, you know. We are praying to our own energy inside. Slow down. Keep your mouth and eyes closed. Mukh banda, ankha banda, sthir. Sthir. Let your hands loose. Let your hands loose. Please close your eyes. Close your eyes. Be grounded. Now we'll go into meditation, but meditation with affirmations. Be grounded. Be grounded. Okay? Feel the lightness in your breath. Now allow your breath to be long and deep. This is Bij Pranayam, the root meditation. Keep your eyes closed. Enjoy the space inside. There's a bigger space inside than the space outside. The space inside is full of peace, full of joy, and full of celebration. Long and deep breath. We are not manipulating the breath. We are just enjoying the breath. We're filling our lungs completely. And then exhaling slowly. Long and deep breath. Your mouth and eyes closed. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the music, enjoy the process. Now we slowly go into affirmation meditation. Long and deep breath. Allow your breath to be natural now. The natural breath is always long and deep. Now gently say to yourself, I am happy. Feel the happiness within. Feel the happiness within. I am happy. Ma ku si chu. I am happy. Gently say to yourself, your body listens to you, your brain listens to you, your mind listens to you. What you say to yourself is what your future is going to be. You are reprogramming your life. You are redefining your life. I am happy. Feel the joy inside. Wow. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I am happy. Feel the happiness radiating in every pore of your being. Every cell of your body is vibrating with happiness and joy. Enjoy the space inside you. There's a vast space inside you. There's another sky inside you. That will be revealed to you when you are in meditation. Now the second affirmation, allow your brain spontaneous and gently say to yourself, I am healthy. I am healthy. Health is inside us. We just need to awaken our health. I am healthy. Don't make it just a repetition. This should be a bhava, the feeling that you develop. I am healthy. You are reprogramming your life. You are reintegrating everything in your life. You will not be the same person after this meditation. I am healthy. Allow your whole body to feel this. Your body, your brain and your mind always listen to you. They do what you say. You are the creator of your own destiny. You can heal yourself and you can heal the world. I am healthy. Only a healthy person can bring in more health in this world. Wow. I am healthy. Repeat this to yourself with a feeling. Make this your mantra. Allow things to happen. Do not resist anything. Do not try. Now the third affirmation. I am peaceful. I am peaceful. Masantichu. Gently and silently say to yourself, I am peaceful. This is golden opportunity for you to feel your peace in the land of the Buddha. Please use this opportunity. Gently and silently say to yourself, I am peaceful. You are re-scripting your life. You are the author of your own life. You are changing your life. You are healing yourself. And you are getting ready to heal the world, the Himalayan way. I am peaceful. Peace is not outside, peace is inside. Energy is not outside, energy is inside. Love is inside, joy is inside. I am peaceful. beautiful. It's amazing. I am peaceful. You have recharged yourself. You have regained your energy and peace of mind. May Buddha be with you all life. Now gently pray for world peace. Every human being, every sentient being in this planet, in the universe, may he or she be peaceful. Spread peace and joy all around. You're sending your prayers, you're sending your blessings to the whole. Now you can slowly rub your arms together, rub your arms together. Apply the energy on your arms to your eyes. And slowly open your eyes on your palms. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Thank you. You can please sit down. Now I am just about to wind up my presentation. Did you enjoy this program? Wonderful. This is self-awakening meditation or Swa Jagaran Dhyan. This is just a 15-minute practice for you to do it on a daily basis. Integrate this into your life. Meditation is not an hour affair. Meditation is a 24 by 365 hours affair. Meditation is complete. The first one was Namaskar Pranayam. The second one was long and deep breath. And the third one was 3 affirmations. I am happy, I am healthy, and I am peaceful. I see wonderful people here. The Dean of Lumbini, Buddhist University, Dr. Maniratna Sakya, my dear friend Charles, the acting mayor of this municipality, Kalpana Harijan, and most importantly, I thank this organizer, the Promised Land Foundation. Yes, this is the Promised Land. Nepal is the Promised Land. You have named your foundation very aptly. Very relevant name. I thank the organizers. A special thank you to Shekharji for inviting us here, and to Vivekji for all the coordination. Thank you, Samiksha, and thank you, Nikeshji. Thank you, everyone. I wish you a wonderful stay. I wish this program success. Practice this Swa Jagaran meditation daily. I'll take your prayers of peace and meditation to the United Nations on December 19 when I make my global presentation there. All of you will be in my heart and in my soul when I go to the UN and we go all over the world. Thank you so much. May peace be with you. Bhavatu Sabba Mangalam.
Thank you so much, sir. I am healthy, I am peaceful, I am happy. र अब चाहिँ आयोजक संस्थाको तर्फबाट स्पेशल रिमार्क्सको लागि I would like to welcome on stage the chairman of the Promised Land Foundation, Nepali young entrepreneur and the global influencer, Mr. Nikesh Adhikari on stage, please. हामी ताली बजाउने यति कन्जुसाइ किन गरिरहेछौँ? यही समयमा भनिहाले कसको मोबाइल हराएको छ भने अगाडि खबर गर्नु होला ल, यतै छ। मोबाइल हराएको छ भने अगाडि स्टेजमा आएर खबर गर्नु होला ल। सरी, निकेश अधिकारी on stage, please, sir.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank each and every one of you for being present here. All the people from the monastic community, all the international delegates, all the representatives from the local government, all the organizations that are working for a collective benefit of Lumbini. Thank you very much for everything that you have done so far, which is the reason that we are here today in this grand hall. I believe that it is a collective efforts that we all get to share this wonderful place. And I have always believed that Nepal is a wonderful place, is a beautiful country, and Lumbini is a blessing that has been bestowed upon Nepal. As Nepalese, as a citizen of the earth, I believe that we share a collective responsibility to do whatever we can, even the smallest of things to the biggest of things, that would bring every one of us together, that would bring people from all walks of life together, and pray to bring a collective understanding, to pray and to create opportunities for everyone. And in my journey of nearly 3 years of promoting Lumbini, of promoting Nepal all over the world, one of the things that I have realized is, why do we lag behind? It is because we have this magnificent place, this sacred ground, but we must utilize this ground to create a sense of collaboration between everyone. We have to create a sense of commitment that Nepal is much more than people know about. Nepal is a magnificent place. It is a wonderful place that can unite people from all over the world. हामी सबैजना यहाँ छौँ। लुम्बिनी सांस्कृतिक नगरपालिकाको हाम्रो मेयरज्यू हुनुहुन्छ, उहाँले पनि भन्नुभयो, सबै सङ्घ संस्थाहरू, each and every organizations जसले लुम्बिनीलाई एउटा मार्गदर्शन दिन कोसिस गरिरहनु भएको छ, सबैजना सँगै मिलेर, सबैजनाले एकअर्कालाई सहयोग गरेर, सबैजनाले आफ्ना रिसोर्सेस शेयरिङ गरेर मात्र हामीले देखेको सपना हामीले साकार गर्न सक्छौँ। एक्लै हामीले धेरै सानो चिज मात्र गर्न सक्छौँ, एक्लै मैले पनि सानो कार्यक्रम मात्र गर्न सक्छौँ। आज यो कार्यक्रम ठुलो हुनुको कारण के हो भन्दाखेरि हामी सबै लुम्बिनीका सबै सङ्घ संस्थाहरू, सबै मोनेस्ट्रीहरू, सबै अर्गनाइजेसनहरू एक ठाउँमा उभिएर हामी चाहिँ यो लुम्बिनीलाई संसारभर चिनाउन पर्छ भन्ने एउटा विश्वास राखेको भएर हामी यहाँ चाहिँ यो कार्यक्रम गर्न सफल भएका छौँ। र यो एकदमै छोटो र धेरै सानो चिज हो। यस्ता धेरै एकदमै धेरै यो जस्तो कार्यक्रमहरू हामीले गर्नुपर्छ। यस्तो कार्यक्रमको माध्यमबाट हामीले लुम्बिनीलाई संसारभर चिनाउनु पर्छ। र के रूपमा हामीले लुम्बिनीलाई चिनाउँछौँ? how do we present Lumbini to the world? How can we make an example? I think we share a collective responsibility, and we have delegations from India, we have delegations from China, we have delegations from different parts of the world here. Why are we all here? It is because we believe that Lumbini shares a very, very big significance in today's world. Lumbini le जुन एउटा महत्त्व बोकेको छ, यो महत्त्वको माध्यमबाट हामीले शान्तिको सन्देश संसारभर लान सक्छौं भन्ने विश्वास सबैलाई छ। तर सानो 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 चीजबाट नै, सानो सानो कदमबाट, सबैजनाको सानो सानो कदम, small collective efforts of everyone can create a large ripple. मलाई एउटा भन्तेले, थाइल्यान्डको भन्तेले भन्नुभएको थियो, a monk from Thailand once told me when I asked him, how can meditation create peace? How can meditation create world peace? If I stay in a room and do meditation, how can I create world peace? भन्दाखेरि what he said, and उहाँले के भन्नुभयो भन्दाखेरि, when we meditate, we create a sense of calmness within ourselves. And when we create a sense of calmness within ourselves, we spread that calmness, we spread that compassion to people around us. And those same people spread it around them, creating a strong ripple that slowly connects everyone. यही मेसेज र यही एउटा विश्वास लिएर हिँड्दै गर्दाखेरि आज म सबै सामु यहाँ आएर बोल्न एउटा अवसर पाएको छु। र यो सबैजनाले गर्नुपर्छ, अझै यस्ता कार्यक्रमहरू हुनुपर्छ, सबैजना मिलेर गर्नुपर्छ, किनभने हामी मिल्यौँ भने हामी बलियो हुन्छौँ। हामी फरक फरक सोच, हामी फरक फरक एजेन्डा बोकेर हिँड्न थाल्यो भने हामी बाँडिन्छौँ। जब हामी एकै ठाउँमा आउन सक्छौँ तब मात्र हामी सबैले देखेको लुम्बिनीको सपना पुरा हुन सक्छ। So, we just heard Susan, हाम्रो नेपाल ट्रेजर कार्बन भन्ने हाम्रो यहाँ एउटा संस्था छ। हामीले यसको माध्यमबाट नेपालमा झन्डै 5 लाख सुधारिएको चुलो हामीले घर घरमा पुर्याउँदै छौँ। र मैले उहाँलाई पनि के भने भन्दाखेरि यो कार्य लुम्बिनीबाट सुरु हुनुपर्छ। We have to start this project from Lumbini because it is the center of world peace and it is a place where we can create a collective understanding among everyone. र यस्तै खालको विभिन्न कार्यक्रमहरू, विभिन्न प्रोजेक्टहरू हामीले संसारभरिका बुद्धिस्ट मात्र नभएर सबै धर्मका, सबै शान्ति प्रेमीहरू, each and every peace lovers can come here in this neutral ground, in this sacred ground, and try to contribute for a collective growth of everyone. यति भन्दै म मेरो 2 शब्द यही नै सक्न चाहन्छु। तर यो भन्दै गर्दाखेरि I want to say that यो सुरुवात मात्र हो, हाम्रो धेरै लामो यात्रा बाँकी छ। This is only the beginning and we have much more to do. Not just for Lumbini, not just for Nepal, not just for Asia, but for the world. Because we carry the legacy of Buddha within us. And we share a very strong responsibility of sharing Buddha's message throughout the world. यो महत्त्वपूर्ण रेस्पोन्सिबिलिटीलाई हामी सबैले मनमा राखेर सानो सानो कदमबाट नै हामीले खोजेको जित हासिल गर्न सक्छौं। यति भन्दै, now saying this, I want to thank everyone again for being present and looking forward to our collective journey of world peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nikesh sir. We have a small announcement here.
好，接下来所有的中国嘉宾现在可以到另外一个场所参观尼克斯先生所进行的慈善事业，以及参观学校。好，现在可以起身进行上车了。
Thank you. Now we'll continue with the keynote speeches. And our next speaker is someone I'm personally very excited to listen to. अहिले हामी देशमा जुन अवस्थामा छौँ, जुन राजनीतिक अवस्थामा छौँ, यो अवस्थामा चाहिँ हामीले अझ बढी उहाँलाई सुन्नु लाभदायी हुन्छ। त्यसैले अबको keynote speech का लागि let's welcome on stage the freedom fighter, the philanthropist, and the former Prime Minister of Ethiopia, who served during the transitional government, His Excellency Mr. Tamrat Lane. Please, sir, we're very eager to hear your insights. मैले अघि पनि भने हामीले ताली बजाउन चाहिँ किन कन्जुसाइ गरेर हो? Thank you for accepting our invitation, sir. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Venerable, the monastic community, esteemed guests from around the world, beloved friends, and fellow citizens of Nepal, ladies and gentlemen. It was a privilege and a profound honor to stand before you today in this beautiful place, Lumbini, the sacred birthplace of Buddha. The apostle of peace, whose teachings to pass even after more than 2.5 millennia. I extend my warmest greetings to the beloved people of Nepal at this historic juncture. A moment when the values of peace, inclusiveness, and the aspiration of a prosperous future converge on the horizon of Nepal's majestic Everest and the eternal resting place of Siddhartha Gautama's message that peace is the highest treasure and compassion the noblest path. From ancient literature, we learn that the name Buddha means the awakened ones.
It's a meaningful coincidence that this year's event in Lumbini is juxtaposed with Nepal's own transition, a rallying cry of peace and prosperous future. Today, an awakened generation rises yearning for the rebirth of the nation of Nepal. The call of Lumbini today become the awakened ones, standing against tyranny and repression, and living for justice and for the greater good. We gather today at this place, the cradle of enlightenment, where a trumpet of unity and harmony resounds from the grandeur of the Himalaya. Here the hopes of Nepali conflict and division, flowing like the inexhaustible rivers of Lumbini. The valleys are blooming, not only with colorful crops, but with dreams of peace and prosperity waiting to be fulfilled. Here, amidst the monasteries of more than 37 nations, the very air whispers unity in diversity, stirring our hearts, the innermost being to reflect on our hatred, the lust for power, greed, and ecosystem. Let's cultivate a shift in our minds, embracing love, tolerance, and inclusiveness. Replacing conflict with dialogue and understanding. The prayer flags flutter, reminding that though we have differences, our longing for the well-being of our nation can unite us. Nepal now stands at the dawn of transition. Like a riverine journey, breaking free from the mountains and flows sometimes in turbulence, sometimes calm, in challenge, flows and ebbs. May it move forward. Transition, if embraced with its challenge and clarity of desires, it can shape our destiny that carves enlightenment of compassion and unity. May this year's theme, Peace and Prosperous Future for Nepal, is not a distant dream. It's a morning star guide. May these lofty values be lived, not just recited in our daily lives. As we gather in Lumbini, let's pray that our leaders govern with humility. Citizens love one another and love God. God bless Nepal God bless all of us, and thank you all for inviting me to this beautiful place, to this beautiful event. And I thank you, my friend Nikesh. God bless.
Thank you so much, His Excellency. We all are extremely delighted with your presence here. Thank you for accepting our invitation. And continuing with our keynote speech, our next speaker is, as we all have seen, हामी सबैले देखिसक्यौं, my favorite actor, a brilliant mind we all youth look up to, a very famous and the unanimously loved actor of Nepal, Mr. Rajesh Amal on stage, please. जोरदार तालीले स्वागत गरौं, Mr. Rajesh Amal.
Good afternoon. Namaste. Greetings to everyone. Pleasure to be here in front of you on this lovely afternoon in Lumbini, where basically the sense of peace, love, compassion, kindness, tolerance emerged, which seems to be in a shadow in today's world. But we must not forget that the want of peace, the calmness, and some sort of tranquility is an innate nature of human existence and human being. But somehow, it's an irony that's in a shadow in today's age, whether it be a politician or a president who declares war, or the soldier or rebel who pulls the trigger. Everybody, each and every one of us, deep down inside in our humanity, seek calmness, seek tranquility, seek some sort of peace. But it's, again, an irony that we have become victim of our circumstances. We have become victims of our various ideologies. And somehow today, peace, tranquility, and calmness has become in short supply in our world. But then we must not forget, it reminds me of Charles Dickens' writing in his Tale of Two Cities. He has very diligently written that it was the best of time, it was the worst of time, it was the age of great wisdom, it was the age of great foolishness, it was spring of light and it was spring of darkness, it was spring of hope and winter of despair. This holds true in Dickens' time, it holds true before him, and it holds true in today's generation as well. We are living in the best of times, and we are probably also living in the worst of times. We are also living at the age of great wisdom and also at the age of great foolishness, in the light and in the darkness, and in the spring of hope and the winter of despair. It holds true even today. Today, the world stands at an unprecedented crossroad in human history. Never before have we been so connected, and yet never have the choice before us been so decisive. In just few decades, technology has woven our lives, our economies, our nation to a single global fabric. A discovery in one part of the world can transform lives in another. A crisis in one region can send shock waves across the planet. Our faiths, in a very real sense, are intertwined. Our extraordinary connectedness is not just a feature of our time. It's an invitation. An invitation to rise above boundaries, to think bigger than nation, and to recognize that we're a part of something profoundly larger than ourselves. Yes, we do have challenges: climate change, economic uncertainty, technological disruption. These forces test us daily. But let's not forget, every generation is given challenges, and every generation has within it strength to overcome them. Nepal for generations has endured political instability, conflict, and ideologies, divisions, rooted in ego than principle. Every time or whenever a generation thinks we are moving forward, we find ourselves dragged backward by mistrust, intolerance, and dangerous habit we have developed. The habit of giving anger a chance and not peace. But peace, santi, is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's strength and responsibility. We all feel the anxiety of present moment. We see frustration among youth searching for opportunities. We see communication polarized by politics. We see people tired of promises but hungry for hope. We see social media turning disagreement into hostility. Yet, despite all this, Nepal is still the land where strangers greet each other with a smile, where festivals bring everyone to the same courtyard, where suffering in one house brings help from 10 others. This spirit is our wealth. This spirit is the wealth of Nepal. This is the Nepal that the world admires and looks up to. And this is the Nepal we cannot afford to lose. Please do not, peace does not come from speeches. Peace begins in how we speak to each other, how we listen, how we disagree without destroying one another. It begins when leaders choose dialogue over drama, when citizens choose patience over provocation, when youth choose creation over destruction, when we collectively choose to think not only of today, but of tomorrow and the generation that will inherit the Nepal we leave behind. I'm an actor. I don't know how many of you know this. I have acted in many films in the past 36 plus years of my career. And most of my story were conflict driven. But I must confess, in cinema, a fight scene or a conflict lasts only for a few minutes. But in society, it can last for generations. So today, I humbly request every Nepali and the world at large, every leader, every youth, every mother, every father, every worker. Let's give peace another chance. Not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. What makes our generation unique is that our challenges are shared. So are our solutions. Standing on this sacred land of Lumbini, it's truly humbling, a place from which peace, tolerance, love, compassion, kindness flowed out to all humanity across the world. Let's take a moment to pause, to reflect, and to pray on this holy land, Lumbini, the birthplace of Buddha, a beacon not only of peace but of compassion, kindness, understanding, and the uplifting shared values of our common humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give peace a chance. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful time here in Lumbini. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rajesh Samad. I hope the world listens to your plea for peace. I hope the world listens to our plea for peace. Thank you. The next is a very special session, conversation of His Excellency Chamrat Lane with Dr. Sudhamsu Dahal. This shall be a reflective session on spiritual transformation, leadership, global peace lessons, and community empowerment. Dr. Sudhamsu Dahal is an associate professor and, as I have observed, a very loved professor of Kathmandu University School of Arts. He has worked extensively in the field of ICT for development, community engagement, and rural empowerment. And more of Chamrat Lane will delve into through the conversation. So I'd like to invite on stage Dr. Sudhamsu Dahal for this session, a special conversation with His Excellency Chamrat Lane. Sudhamsu sir, the stage is yours. सुन्नु न
एउटाले अर्कालाई फेस गर्ने गरेको उनीहरू बोल्नु पनि हो पनि हो हैन मैले बोलाउने भने बोलाएर मलाई चाहिँ नै हात त्यो अर्को त्यो र यो
Namaste. Very good morning. It's been a privilege to host this session with His Excellency Chamrat Lane. I would like to call up His Excellency on the stage. I'll briefly introduce him and I'll try to set the scene and we'll enter into deliberations. And I hope we'll have a wonderful session which will give us a thinking or food for thought to how to go about moving in the trying times. Yes. Good afternoon, Your Excellency, esteemed guests, youth leaders, impact investors, UN cultural envoys, scholars, artists, and global delegates. We convene in the sacred precincts of Lumbini, the birthplace of Siddhartha Gautama. We embodied the profound transition to enlightenment as Buddha and extend our reflections to Ramgram. This hallowed settings aligns seamlessly with our event, World Peace Third, under the theme, Peace for a Prosperous Future, emphasizing world peace and sustainable development, goal number 16 for the future. Emphasizing world peace through inner peace and sustainable development. This is the goal 16 of sustainable development. Transition at its core transcends governmental reconfiguration. It signifies a paradigm shift in collective consciousness. From conflict or reconfiguration, it signifies a paradigm shift in collective consciousness. From a conflict or autocracy to enduring peace and democratic resilience. As a social scientist, I draw on sociological frameworks to bridge high-level political insights with people-centered approaches, incorporating community engagement and sociology of technology. Our dialogue today explores how nations and individuals navigate radical shifts, cultivating resilience and hope. We are privileged to feature our key speaker, His Excellency Tamrat Lani, whose stewardship of Ethiopia's 1991 transition from dictatorship to federalism epitomizes this theme. Your Excellency, now I would like to move into sessions. I have 3 segments. The first segment is, I called it as the mechanics of political transition. I'll just start with small note or question. We commence with institutional facet of transitions, navigating the turbulence of systemic overhaul. Such shifts from conflict or authoritarianism frequently entails vulnerable structures, elevate public aspirations, and the peril of regression. Your Excellency Tamrat Lani, you navigated a 17-year Derg regime to a multi-party federal systems amid profound ethnic and political challenges. What proved the most arduous decision in that precarious phase to forestall reversion to disorder? And what broader governance lesson emerged, Your Excellency?
Thank you very much. It's a very broad issue, and but also an important one to the learning process of the Nepalese situation, especially now during transition. My life embodies both conflict, war, and also peace and reconciliation. So I am by myself an embodiment of conflict, war versus peace, reconciliation. My previous life, earlier life, especially when I was young, I was involved more in revolutionary movement, first in the student movement, mostly violent, mostly conflictual, and then later, for 15 years of my life, I went through a bloody armed struggle, guerrilla warfare, that that took 70,000 lives. We fought for 15 years against a military government, a communist military government, to bring democracy, to bring reconciliation, and so on. But I myself was following a communist ideology which believes mostly in violence. But then things shifted. After we took power, things shifted into a shift of ideology, a shift of our minds, and a shift towards peace, reconciliation, and inclusiveness. That is the only time that we were able to bring something meaningful for the society and for the nation. In 1991, when we took power, after 15 years of war, and after giving more than 70,000 of our friends' lives, we did two most important things. The first one is we brought peace, and we ended the era of war. We ended the era of conflict. Number two, we brought all political forces together and established a constituent assembly of all political forces. Inclusiveness. We included all parties, all forces, for one most important thing, and it was the end of poverty. That was our goal. So because of that, the nation becomes peaceful, and we started building economic development. We started fighting against poverty, not against one another. And because of that, for almost 10 years, Ethiopia became one of the fastest growing economic place in Africa. But then, in 2018, again the nation got into another cycle of war, another cycle of conflict, and another cycle of degeneration. I think this life of myself is a learning process. It's a lesson for the situation of Nepal and the Nepalese people now.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. So following up with that, in general, transitions evoke profound optimism, as you've just narrated. A new hope for renewal would be a bottom line. How do leaders reconcile the chasm between visionary ideals and the pragmatic complexities of administration? You yourself, being a transitionally Prime Minister of Ethiopia, would like to hear your thoughts on that.
The most important thing for leaders to foster peace and also development is to start from themselves, to look into their inner being, and a shift of mind in ideology, a shift of mind in perspective, in how to see others, a shift of mind in reconciliation and peace. So the very important piece, the very primary piece for bringing change in the nation is for leaders to start from themselves. I call it a humility leadership, leadership of humility. That leadership of humility brings selflessness. fighting against own ego and fighting against own greed, and start living for others, living for the principle of love. So starting from the inner being and shift of mind, shift of heart is important for leaders to get into a journey of humility and also change for the society.
I'll take it forward from there onwards. And this segment, we'd like to listen to your own personal transformation and leadership. So advancing from structural mechanics, we delve into the nexus of personal metamorphosis and efficacious leadership. There have been sociological inquiries suggesting that enduring societal change often demands leaders to exemplify transformative ethos. Your Excellency Tamrat Lane, your audacy from Marxist-Leninist insurgent to advocate of forgiveness and reconciliation following 12 years of imprisonment, much in solitude, exemplifies a radical personal shift from atheist militancy to devout Christianity. This emphasizes inner peace. How has this refined your notion of power? And does genuine national transition presupposes leaders' transcendent spiritual or ethical evolution?
My personal revolution, I can say, happened when I was a political prisoner, imprisoned for 12 years in solitary confinement, where nobody was visiting me but was by myself. My life is divided into two parts, you can say. One part was my life of a Marxist, Leninist, communist, violent, armed struggle, guerrilla warfare, that kind of life. That happened until I became a political prisoner. And that is in 1996. My second half of life became about forgiveness, peace, love, harmony, and the inner reflection of life. These are the two pieces of my life. And my leadership life also depends on these two different phases of my life. The first leadership experience of myself in my first phase of life was dependent only on arrogance, violence, and that sort of leadership values and leadership style. But my second life exemplifies and exhibits a leadership qualities of humility, love, forgiveness, and reconciliation. What changed my life from that to this, from my first life to second life, was my shift of mind, the shift of my heart from atheism to faith. While I was in prison, I started following a person called Jesus. And because of that, my mind shifted from violence to peace. And I thank the person of Jesus who changed my life into this way. And it's because of him and because of my faith on Jesus that my whole personality and leadership style changed.
Looking from your experiences from these changes, and you articulated two lives. I'd be interested to know, how have your transformative journeys recalibrated leadership models in your respective context? Do we see that as a recalibration of leadership models for others, not only in Africa, for elsewhere? For example, like a very different society like in Nepal.
And I would focus on the Nepalese situation when I try to answer this question, because it's very important. You know, people talk about the whole world, global peace, and so on and so forth. That's important, I understand. But let's start from Nepal. Let's start from here, from the people here, from the leadership here, especially from what we have at hand now, the transition of Nepal. What do we need for this transition to succeed? I want to answer your question in terms of this focus and in terms of this interpretation. I think Nepal at this time, the most important thing that Nepal needs at this time is a band of leaders who changed their minds, shifted their hearts and their minds, and fight against selfish interests and become selfless, serving for the people and for the nation. A band of leaders that come together in faithfulness for the nation of Nepal. A band of leaders who overthrow their own ego and selfish interests and work and focus only for the interest of the people. I believe Nepal has a young generation that give birth to this kind of leaders. That's what we need now as Nepalese people.
Thank you. This perfectly fits in the third segment. We're entering into the third segment. The third segment would be on technology, society, and people-centered transitions. In today's digital epoch, especially in the context of recent youth uprising using the digital tools in Nepal, transitions transpire amid rapid informational cascades, where misinformation can intensify features as swiftly as hope can coalesce. Leveraging my own expertise in information and communication technology for development and sociology, I know capacity in societal fabrics. This resonates with contemporary dialogues such as those on determinism and digital consciousness, in particularly related to peace building. How can communication be mobilized not solely for informational dissemination, but for retrospective ends, promoting dialogue and mending divided communities amid transitions? This would be a very important note we would expect from you, Your Excellency.
Well, and this is a very important, critical challenge that especially the young generation is facing at this time. We can't be escaped from technology. Technology is going on. Technology is ruling everything in our life. And we can't escape from that. What we have to do is to adapt to this development, technological development, and make use of for our purpose, for the people's interest. That's what we have to do. And in this technological development, there are always negative parts, negative roles, and positive parts and positive roles. So what we have to do is to make the new generation aware as to how this generation uses the development of technology for positive communication, not for conflict, not for hatred, but for reconciliation, for dialogue, and for conversation. Here is the thing. With conflict, with war, and with hatred, nothing can be solved. But with love, with dialogue and conversation, we can resolve every problem and challenge of our society. And it starts from awareness of the new generation, the young generation, how to use this technology development for communication and for the interest of the people.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I think as this symposium underscores that peace surpasses war's absence, underpinning a prosperous future by economic vitality, as you have just narrated. One aspect would be sustainable tourism, conscious economies, and initiatives like clean energy investments. Can substantive prosperity persist without the substratum of spiritual and social accord we integrate today? We'd like to hear your thought on that.
Fostering economic development has to rely on two most important things. And these important things has to depend on the Nepal's people's power and people's creativity here. And it starts from Nepal. The first thing is to foster the creativity and the power, empowerment of the people's creativity. People's freedom and liberty is key for empowerment of the people's creativity. The second thing is empowerment of people's mind, so that people's mind and perspective will start for thinking and creating new things. Within these two things, economic development comes. Being independently homegrown economic development is important. Of course, Nepal cannot be out of international relations, devoid of any relationships with other nations, with other people, but it has to start always from the strengthening of the inner, the Nepalese economic power first, and then get to relationship with others.
I would like to synthesize our deliberations so far, and this will give me some points to ponder. Like, how do efficacious transitions force interconnections among inner peace, societal reconciliation, and economic efflorescence, potentially through compassion-driven prosperity, or as we've come across this term, carbon-neutral frameworks. This is the new development phenomena. So how do we reconcile with that within the spiritual transformation of the leaders?
As I understand, your question is the inner transformation versus
the new complexities of development.
For any development to start with, as I said earlier, it has to start from each individual's and then, of course, collective change of perspective first. For example, a society or a community has to first think and be convinced that it can change its circumstances, the environment, and then, of course, the broader sense of the community. Before it starts material development, it has to start from the inner spiritual development of itself, whether it's an individual or a community or a society. A society enslaved of, for example, dependency mentality cannot develop economic cannot bring up economic development. So that society has to first become independent in its mind, in its spirit, so that it would create its economic progress.
Thank you very much. Now I think we can welcome some brief question and answers from the audience. Especially, we'd be very interested to listen or expect questions from youth, the investors, also including the monastic perspectives as we are in Lumbini here, and in alignment with the events, light offering and eternal flame ceremonies that we just witnessed while inaugurating this program. So I would welcome any questions that you may have for His Excellency Tamratlaini. Can we have somebody to pass the microphone to the... I think to the audience, please. Audience la dinu na tola.
So I'd like to ask something to His Excellency. For a country like Nepal, where the old parties have a rooted system that is spread everywhere, how can the youth how can the youth rise and bring about a change? Now, in terms of deep root, I mean that the system that Nepal has, where we have the electoral seats and all the people that are elected have to vote for a government to be formed. How can we as youth overcome this? How can we overcome this? How can we overcome this cycle or break this cycle? Because even if we try to do as much as we can, the roots are very deep. What would you say, Your Excellency?
Get to this question, which is very important and which is very relevant to the Nepalese situation right now. But to get into that, let me get back to my period when I was a Gen Z, back. When I was a student, a high school and then later on college student, it was an imperial system ruled by kings and monarchs and so on at that time. And I'm talking about the 1970s, beginning of 1970s. What we did at that time were two things, which may be relevant for today's Nepalese young generation especially. The first one we did was we had to teach, orient and reorient ourselves first before we get into the society and try to change. So we did that by creating a group of trusted friends, group of trusted, very close friends came together. And believe it or not, we were only five trusted friends who were eager and very much towards changing our nation, Ethiopia. At some point, we started discussing and talking among ourselves about how to change the status quo, the situation, which was very repressive, which was very tyrannic, and poverty was, rampant in the country. Ethiopia was the poorest country of the world. And this thing was always a question in our mind. And we were always talking about, what do we do? So we said, number one, we have to create ourselves as a center, as a core of a movement. And then secondly, we said we have to bring up an idea that is against the monarchy, against the old, but also a new idea that takes Ethiopia into the future. So two things were important. Organizing ourselves, 5 of us, as a committed, selfless change makers, young people, and 2, idea, a new idea. I underline on these 2 things for the present Nepalese youngsters. A committed, selfless change makers come together and vow to change the status quo. Number 2, idea, a new idea that takes the society towards the future and that convinces the society for the future. These 2 things are important. Unless these 2 things are there, a change would never come. It would never come. So these 2 things are important for a change. Now, here is my appeal to the young generation of Nepal, especially to the intellectual elite of Nepal. The intellectual elite of Nepal is responsible for a change. Then things would not change. If the intellectual elite becomes vibrant, a change agent, then change comes. But always peaceful, not violent, not conflict, always peaceful. Organize new idea. Organize new idea. The intellectual elite has a special responsibility for a change. A selfless, committed to change that overthrows its own ego, its own power ambition. That kind of group of people is necessary to change the old and to bring the new, which is a good new, but always peacefully, not with war, like my time of, in the 70s. We were like violent, we were like for war, we were like, during our time, we had a slogan that says, freedom comes out of the barrel of a gun. I don't say that now. Freedom comes out of peace. A peaceful movement, a peaceful change, but vibrant and selfless and committed. Serving the people, not serving self. That's what.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We have one more question. I've seen there. I think.
Thank you, His Excellency, for your very impressive. Ethiopia is achieving very strong economic growth, 7.1% growth in this year. Congratulations to you, to your nation. This land where Buddha ignited us for peace. And now I like to have some a short question to you. Buddha ignited us how to get peace. Nowadays, people want both peace, progress, and prosperity in one side. In other side, they are also suffering from stress, depression, and loneliness. So you united us. I just need a very short message from this land to your people, Ethiopian and South African people, a short message for achieving peace and prosperity together to the world, to your world, and to us, how to get speedy economic growth to us. All lesson from a side, a very short side. Thank you, sir.
First and foremost, listen to the young generation. There is a saying in Ethiopia that says, if you want to study history, listen to the oldies. If you want to see the future, sojourn with the youngest. Nepalese fathers and mothers of my age have to listen to the young generation. It's not an option. It's a must. Because the future of Nepal belongs to the new generation, to the young, not to the old. We did our part. When I say we, me and my age, the old, we did our part. Whether it was wrong or not, that's another question. But we did it. Now we are done. Our role now is advise, consult, share experience, not rule. The ruling is for the new. The advice is for the old. The consulting is for the old. And this problem, by the way, is not only in Nepal, but in all countries, including Ethiopia. At some point, as I said earlier, Ethiopia was considered as one of the fastest growing economically in Africa, in fact in the world, at some point for about 10 years. But then a problem comes. The problem was the young generation started asking, started going on and want to do its role, which was a legitimate role because the future was for the young. But then the old guards were adamant, they were stubborn not to give way for the young, not to give the leadership to the young. And then a conflict happened. And now Ethiopia is at war, in conflict. So this is number one. The very important thing is this one. The second important thing, of course, is, as I mentioned earlier, the young generation of the intellectual elite has a unique responsibility of leading the nation to a new journey. The young generation of the intellectual elite has a unique responsibility. If this section doesn't play that responsibility, then the nation would go through a cycle of poverty, a cycle of conflict, a cycle of all. Why the young intellectual elite is responsible? Because it's enlightened. It's enlightened. It can see the future. It can see what should come. And it can create an idea. Bringing an idea is not for an ordinary people. Bringing an idea, a new idea, is for the elite, especially for the intellectual elite. If that elite sleeps or becomes silent, then there is no new idea. So this is very important. Before thinking about economic development, these things has to be in place. A faith, as we have of course said before, a spiritual transformation, a shift of mind and a shift of heart among this intellectual is of course important for all these things.
Thank you, thank you. I think, yeah, we have one more question, and because of the time, we'll take one question and then we have to sum it up. Question from, can we pass the mic please there? Yes, yes please.
Hello, good afternoon everybody. Especially, I would like to raise two questions. First question is, we are suffering the food security, instability in Nepal. So, in case of Utopia, I want to elaborate this question. In 1995, during this period, in Ethiopia, Uganda, Nairobi, Malbi, 4 countries, around a little bit torturing a dozen of countries. But Ethiopia, Uganda, Nairobi, Malbi, 4 countries are more affected by 3 pathogens of wheat, like black rust, yellow rust, brown rust. At this period, 1995, all the wheat crop destroyed. People are suffering a longer period in Hungary for wheat product. At this moment, 1999, one of the project launched, that is name of UG99. And after the UG99, these African countries are stable for food security in wheat. So,
can you ask your question please?
Okay. So, how African country is stable in food security? In case of Nepal, we are suffering dependency in other country. How to recall?
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. He's asking about how Ethiopia recovered the food crisis in the past and what would be the learning from Nepal.
During 1999, that project name is UG99, means Uganda 99.
Thank you.
Well, when we took power in 1991, we took power in 1991, by the way, and I became Prime Minister in 1991. When we took power, at that time, Ethiopia was dependent in food, and the food security was not achieved. One of the poorest countries. And what we did was to carve a strategy, what we called agricultural-led industrialization strategy. And in that strategy, our focus, our central focus, was the rural society and the farmers. We call them the peasants. That was our focus. So we said most of our resources has to be employed in the rural areas and for the farmers. When we do that, then the farmers started productivity and production increases. And that production mainly is food production. And that happened within 3 years. We started seeing changes towards food security. And of course, there are different elements, many elements in this strategy. I'm just explaining in short because of time. But the main strategy was agriculture. We employed most of our resources, financial, material, for example, fertilizers, seeds, and so on, and also human resources. Thousands and thousands of rural, we call them rural social workers, were trained and sent to the rural areas to live with the farmers so that they would teach the farmers how to introduce a modern way of farming. And thousands of social workers, we call them health workers, were introduced, trained, and sent to the rural areas and start small-scale health institutions like not hospitals, but small clinics, health facilities, and so on. And the farmers' income started to increase. The more the farmers' income increases, the more productive it is, and the more it would supply food supply for industries, manufacturers, and also in the city. This is just a summary, but that's how we came and secured food security. In fact, at some point, after the 1995, all the way up to 2000-something, 2005, 2007, we became food security. It was achieved. And in fact, we started exporting even food. Of course, now the story is different. As I said earlier, now we are in war and conflicts and so on, and mainly it's because of leadership. But at that time, that was it. I'm not saying even then things were flowery. I'm not saying even then things were perfect. It was not perfect. There were a lot of problems, especially in democracy, in reconciliation, in dialogues, there were problems. But in the economy, that was what we did and we achieved. But again, the critical thing there is two: committed, selfless, organized leaders. Selfless leaders, not corrupt leaders. And then idea, strategy, the right idea, the right strategy. These two things are critical.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. So in summation, our exchange illuminates that a successful transition eschews linearity. ideological intransigence to humanistic empathy, and from power's dominion to love's potency. As we propel peace for a prosperous future in this occasion, may our individual and communal evolutions illuminate trajectories for nations globally. Gratitude to our eminent Excellency Tamra Tleni, former Prime Minister of Ethiopia. Would like to give him a big applaud. I would like the audience to give him a big applaud.
Thank you very much.
Our audience is the organizer of World Peace 3. I would like to take a privilege in acknowledging the fact that we transition from this dialogue to Ulohai's performances, an eternal flame ceremony and other exploratory activities tomorrow and the day after in congruence with world peace. Thank you very much for listening to us, and thank you very much, Your Excellency, for this deliberation. Thank you.
How often do we see someone from the experienced generation advocate for the younger ones? I personally felt very motivated. Thank you, His Excellency. And thank you, Sudhamsu sir, for conducting such a wonderful session. अब चाहिँ हामी ब्रेकतिर लाग्ने छौँ। स्टेजको दायाँतिर नेपाल आर्ट ट्रेडर्सको कला प्रदर्शनी भइरहेको छ, त्यतातिर पनि मैले ध्यान आकर्षण गराउन चाहे। हामी आधा घण्टाको ब्रेक हुनेछ। ब्रेक पछि अझ बढी एक्साइटिङ प्यानल डिस्कसन छ, कल्चरल सेसन छ, म्युजिकल पर्फर्मेन्स छ, त्यही भएर फर्केर आउनु होला। 30 मिनेट पछि भेटौँ है त।